quick video on cleaning, maintenance, and adjustment for the Briley Manufacturing telescopic magazine tube. So, as we've seen, the tube will ship fully assembled, ready to go on the gun. For disassembly and cleaning and maintenance, on production models, both of these parts will be the same color. This is a pre-production version. So this actually helps a little bit because it gives us a little bit of color here. But you split the magazine adapter from the magazine tube. This is the O-ring that helps lock these two together so that you don't have this joint coming apart when disassembling the gun for cleaning. When removing this part, be careful to hold on to it because it is under spring tension from the inner spring. Set that to the side. Ease that all apart. So now we've got our outer tube, our spring, and our inner tube. As far as maintenance, typically my process is a little light oil, like a rim oil or a CLP, on the spring just to prevent rust. You're not trying to get it wet. And then I just wipe any carbon buildup from the muzzle off of the carbon fiber tubes with a dry paper towel. For the most part, that seems to do everything we need to do. The system works pretty well and stays pretty clean, somewhat self-cleaning as the inner tube travels, so it's not really an issue. So here we have our breakaway adjustment spacer. So this is what sets your extended length when the magazine is full. These are designed to be broken off in 1/4 inch increments, which you can see there, each notch. This has a convex side and a concave side. The concave side always goes to the spring, as it helps keep the spring centered around the inner tube. The convex side goes into a matching concave side on this lower adapter here. So for length adjustment, all the magazines will ship in what should be a 12-round configuration. You can, if you need to make it a little bit longer, give yourself a little more space, you can trim these off 1 notch at a time. That will gain you a 1/4 inch of length. If you were shooting IPSC modified or anything with an overall length restriction, you can order an extra spacer. This one has already been trimmed down. We will have these available on the website along with the magazine tubes, and so you can trim off a single piece, stack it on. You can trim this down to the length you need, and stack it with your original one to set your overall finished length. To trim these, always trim from the convex side. The concave side needs to stay, but every time you cut it, this convex surface will get remade. So I use just any pocket knife and roll the spacer around with the blade in the groove. And after a couple of laps here, you'll hear it. Let's see. There it goes. The knife will come through. Be careful not to hurt yourself. But now I've taken a 1/4 inch off the length, which will add a 1/4 inch to your full extension overall length. These spacers can be used even if you end up cutting a couple too many. You can always stack the single pieces back on. It's not going to hurt anything. It'll work just fine. It's stacked just like that, and then reinstall just how they came off. So convex side down towards the plastic part of the magazine, so that your spring will rest in the center. This is the inner spring plug. When reassembling this, I like to have this plug off. It gives me a little bit easier time getting it back into the tube. So for reassembly, we've got our parts here. I take the inner spring or the outer spring here, load it over, and I like to pull it all the way down and then feed the outer tube over and release the spring up inside. So by leaving the spring cap off, I can use my finger to guide that the inner tube through the top cap of the outer, and then just reinstall the bottom cap And this can take a little bit of pressure. There we go. Once it's on, it'll screw right down. And then I leave this off until I get it back on the gun and reinstall the inner spring, because again, I can reach in here and pull this out rather than having to try and fight with a tool or anything else. So that is disassembly, adjustment, and reassembly of the Briley telescoping magazine extension.